align all these documents. Because in the recent past, there were some cases when some of the institutions, some firms involved into producing some fake documents, and they were they came under the regulatory scrutiny also. So therefore, this is a very sensitive thing, which we need to take care of this, that within the firms, we have the complete control, and we are checking with the documents we are producing are properly aligned with the regulatory expectations.
So, sir, I will speak about Dhangarh. How do we do that? Correct me if we are on the right lines for that. When we speak about the right documentation going out, agreements, invoices, everything. So what we started following long back when we were new, we used to have written signatures, written agreements. But since a long time, what we are following is a digitization of signatures, in which if you have to send any agreement out, it goes to the manager, it goes through a proper IP address, and then it goes to the customer for signing. And even the customer, he has to do it digital sign. It goes to OTP is there, then there is IP being traced through the CRM, and then it come back to us. So is this part relates to what you're saying?
Yeah, that's the part relates to it.
Because a lot of times the customer can say that I didn't sign this paper. A lot of times the employee can sign itself. So as a company, you need to protect that yes, this is legitimately signed by the customer and by the employee and the person manager who's approving that particular transaction.
Yeah, so that is important. So already you have incorporated, because mostly authorities in the same way which you have adopted here, they are following the same structure, which is very good, because now the world is moving towards the digitization, and you have already incorporated it. So that's a very good news for the business.
Well, that comes from my techie background. I didn't mention that. I didn't wanted to brag about it. I am a techie by background. So we always try to bring technology in the center of Dhangarh, whatever we do, because we do things at scale. So we want the compliance again to be there. We want things to be centralized. We want customer to get very fast and good service. That's why we try to accommodate at smallest to smallest level a technology better. And this related to the SOPs which you are mentioning, related to documentation, I want to mention this and tell me if it is really helpful in compliance. So on the same note, we have filed an ISO trademark as well, so that we can really audit the level of SOPs which we have created in Dhangarh, the compliance which we are following. So will that help us in the compliance?
Yeah, it will help you a lot, because as much as this is a very proactive approach which you have adopted. And as much as you will incorporate yourself into these type of the standards and the forums, so obviously it will create a very good reputation into the whole industry, and it will be a landmark for your business also. So this is the way, mashallah, you people are very young, and I'm saying you have started your journey in such a way, in which you are trying to make it more robust, towards to follow up the all standards. So this is the first step for the prosperity of the businesses. So this is what we have learned into the Oxford University, visionary leaders when we talk about. So yes, it is one of that you have that innovation, which you are moving forward. The way forward is very clear to you also, that you want to combine with all these new, the trends or new SOPs which are there. So you are becoming the part of them. So every business, I will suggest them that they need to move forward. But obviously, when they are moving forward to it, so they need to take care of this thing, that yes, it is in accordance with the lines of the compliance. Our regulators, our authorities allow this thing to do this. So they need to move forward with these new inventions.
Well, when we speak about technology is something which helps us. At the same time, it creates harm as well. So my next point is that when we speak about technology being so much used in this country, it is creating somewhere a risk as well. What is the risk in terms of compliance when you use technology as a country in that scale and as a company as well? How you as Mr. Rizwan can help us navigate through that compliance in terms of using the technology but being compliant as well, managing that risk through technology?
Yeah. So this question, actually nowadays, it's a more important part not in the UAE, but all over the world. This is a big point, like which is under the discussion, especially like FATF, they have also given the guidelines for how to handle the new technologies. And they have also highlighted where are the key risks are arising. So little bit key risk I can tell you, like which are coming from the new technologies. First of all, like we have a very, especially in UAE, we have a very big infrastructure for the digital technologies. And recently, like in Dubai, the government has also arranged like a digital summit here in UAE. So for that, so there are so many investors are coming, like those who are going to start their digital firms, especially we can say financial technologies, fintech firms, and they are getting enrolled into the DFSA. They are going to enroll in ADGM, and also some licenses are issued by the Central Bank of UAE, and also like VARA is also there, like those which are issuing these licenses. So, but meanwhile, what is the challenge is coming? Challenge is coming like regulatory oversight.
Yes.
What is that mechanism which like we can monitor like the all transactions like through these digital companies? Because obviously the major concern, especially also in our region, like we have only one area where we need to improve into the FATF report, which is like where we are partially compliant. In other, like we are 100% compliant or we are largely compliant. But one area, like recommendation 16 is new technologies.
Okay.
Yeah. So new technologies, like we need to uplift ourselves and we need to work very hard. And for that, what are the precautions we need to do? First of all, regulatory frameworks, like especially from all our authorities, they are dedicatedly working on it. And when it will be all aligned, that when you are onboarding any new company, so it is under the regulatory oversight. That is the very important part, first point. And if you see 79 to 80% risk, which is having the expectations is this, that regulatory oversight should be there. Second thing, which is important, consumer data protection.
Okay.
So how the customers' data will be secure. Let's suppose there is one country, like we can take from West Africa. Maybe we can take from the East Africa or maybe from China. So what are our controls, how we can understand this thing, that what the controls they have applied within their jurisdictions, compliance perspective.
Okay.
And when this transaction is coming to us, so what are our controls? So how we are reviewing this thing, that how these cryptocurrencies are traveling, which we say crypto travel rule.
Yes.
Who is the remitter, who is the originator, and who is the...
What are the different points on the chain?
Yeah, and how digital currencies, they are converted into the fiat currencies. So therefore, these are the areas where new technologies is always having challenges right now.
So if I were to speak about the fintech, the digital banks, which is part of fintech as well, there is no as such any issues in terms of using the technology or getting bigger from UAE till the globe. But the point is, the first is you have to do everything in the regulatory oversight, so that you are creating your own frameworks together with the law and following it. Then the second is that all the transactions, everything which is coming up, you really need to create protocols that you are able to identify what are the issues there or what can be a risk in terms of that. And then is consumer data protection.
Yeah, consumer data protection. And obviously, for one thing which you need to ensure that your registered firms which are in UAE, they are not dealing with any unregistered or unlicensed firms.
Okay.
So they are supposed to deal with those firms which are properly registered within their jurisdictions. So that is an important point. And the rest of the things, that the compliance SOP, when we talk about that what the model they need to follow into the new technologies, as you are one of the part that you are conducting eKYC.
Yes.
So eKYC is an important part. And specifically for the new technologies, some monitoring of the customers' transactions, you have to incorporate some parameters into your core system in which you can find out some risky areas.
Okay.
So same like this, the risk assessment evaluation is also very much important of your counterpart and their customers also. So these are the major challenges which are coming from the new technologies. And one last thing which is very important into this discussion from the new technologies perspective, like money trail. Yeah, money trail is very important, like from where the transaction was originated and where this transaction is ending. You need to make two ends together.
Okay. Source of fund, source of
fund, source of wealth,
creates the money.
Of the transaction. Yeah, so these are the important parts.
But I believe one thing, again, you have to correct me on that UAE, as it allows so much of technology, so much of business to come in UAE, at the same time, the technology is continuously innovating in the compliance sector as well. I see a lot of softwares, lot of tools which are coming who can really get to the source of fund, money trails, everything, if I am correct.
Yeah, UAE is they are more focused, the firm needs to have some automatization.
Okay.
And the automated tool system should be there. So it will be add value because nothing nowadays is happening manually. And if you, let's suppose you are starting your business through the Dhan card, and for that, you must keep in your mind that how you will secure the data of your clients. And how swiftly you can provide this information to any authority whenever it is requested. So for that, you need to have some automated system which can also evaluate the risk of your clients also. So automatically, all risk related to we say risk-based approach according to that we can evaluate the risk of our clients and after this reporting. Maybe you are reporting annually something to the regulators. So those report automatically generated through your system.
Correct.
So therefore,
STRs.
Yeah, STRs also, suspicious transaction reports also. So therefore, your automated system should be there, which can support to this.
Well, at this point, I want to take your heads up because there are a lot of fintech entrepreneurs and startups who must be watching this and will watch this. I want to give them this good news by you telling on this platform that coming to UAE, fintech is the best place to start the business in Dubai or Abu Dhabi or as a UAE as a whole. And you can really help them navigate the compliance. As Dhangad, of course, we can help them to set up the company, do the visa process, do the banking process. But there are some regulations related to the compliance aspect as well. So if you can tell so that we can get the good news here.
Yeah, so good news is this for them that they need to come and they need to start their business into the digital technologies. And by the way, I have a lot of experience because I have done my master's in digital technologies from Manchester University.
Okay.
So yes, obviously we can guide them that related how they can move forward towards the compliance perspective into the UAE region. But as we discussed earlier on, that when they come here, first of all, they need to be licensed and you are going to support them to get the licenses, obviously from the different authorities. So when they will be onboarded here, so how they need to run the business, they need to implement a stringent compliance, which regulatory authority should be completely satisfied with them. So for this, yes, obviously we can help them out into this, that what should be that model of the compliance they need to implement. And how they can make their controls they can apply into their businesses, in which they can ensure this thing that 100% they are aligned with the expectations of the regulators. So this is one part. Second, I would also like to say to this thing to you, that nowadays when the digital technologies are becoming so much attractive, so some risk are inherently there, which is coming when we are onboarding them. So those risks, we need to ensure that properly addressed, let's suppose the making payments, as we discussed earlier on, that digital currencies payments are converting into the fiat currencies, and anonymity factor is also there. So those risks needs to be mitigated.
So, sir, we set up a lot of fintech companies, and first thing our advisor does is not going into the licensing aspect. First, we always understand from the client perspective what exactly is your experience. When it comes to fintech, it's a very sensitive matter. So, my team, from me and from the experience what we had, our strict guidelines is that we really need to understand, does the person has the experience related to it, relative, be it educational background, be it working somewhere. So he understands how he can really create this company, creating the compliance framework, creating the payment framework, data protection, everything you can do when you have experience. Is that correct way we are doing it?
Yeah, very right. Because this experience will help him out. And honestly, like when we will apply for this thing, so regulatory expectations will also demanding this thing.
Correct. Because a lot of clients, I'm telling you very honestly from the bottom of my heart, that a lot of clients get really irritated from us that we are asking so many questions and they will always go to someone else. But I feel like that if we don't ask questions and if we don't understand completely our client, how we can support him.
Yeah, being a service provider, like this our responsibility that we need to guide them into the right direction. Because these questions which you are asking, obviously this question at the second level, regulator will have the expectation with the same question. So what you are doing, you are going to do, you are trying to make their case more strong, in which like the authorities can understand properly, yet they have already fulfilled the all expectation. So then it will be easy for them to get the licenses. But like if they are going like half prepared, or they are going straight away, so obviously then they will have a lot of challenges. So therefore your role is important for them, that you are guiding them in this line to them, all of them. And when comparatively, technically when we talk about, so obviously when someone is going to start this business, he must have some idea of this business and what the expertise of that business which he is carrying onto it. So same compliance also expects this thing that, okay, you are going to do this business. So what is your baseline? So if their baseline is not there, so obviously the challenges come. So the complete infrastructure, you at your level, you are ensuring this thing that they have already incorporated. So it will be good for them to move forward.
Well, happy to hear that. I'm personally glad to hear that. Now, on the same note, I am again happy to say that when we will onboard some bigger fintech clients or some banks even who are coming, credit institutions, financial institutions, we have your support. And I'm saying this on the video, we have your support that you will help the entrepreneurs and Dhangar in terms of creating the compliance framework, doing the regular audits, and helping the companies to follow the first line defense, the second line defense, and the third line defense. I'm taking your commitment on that.
Yeah, it's like this because the commitment is strong in the sense the compliance is the top priority for this because business is highly encouraged, and especially into the digital technologies, we encourage this business. But yes, obviously, meanwhile, we need to follow the compliances. And compliances, those compliances which are nowadays very advanced compliance, which are the major requirement for the fintech firms. So obviously, we will support you into this.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Now we'll come to what we left during the halfway of the video, the whistleblower thing. I really want to know, and there'll be many people who want to know about the whistleblower thing.
Yeah, if you see whistleblower nowadays, in every a regulatory authority, it's the most important part, whistleblower. And there are many surveys are coming nowadays, you have the policies and procedures for the whistleblower or not. First thing, which is important, every businesses which is going to be registered, especially into the digital side also, they must have a whistleblower policies.
Okay.
And how it works now, I tell you. Whistleblower works if any of the team member or if any of the senior management, they see something which is not accordance with the law and to the regulations, so they need to highlight that one.
Okay.
And for the highlighting that one, their contact point is their compliance officer.
Compliance officer.
And also one of the other members they can take into the committee, which may be like SEO, like senior executive officer. So this will be the lines for the whistleblower, like how it will be whistleblown. So for that, like you must maintain some emails, like which are specifically if somebody watches something that something is happening wrong. So through whistleblower, he can escalate this issue.
Okay.
Without any fear.
Okay.
Because sometimes what happens, like some of the cases which I have observed into the industry, like harassment or maybe like in misappropriation of the facts, manipulations, misrepresentations. So how it can be escalated? Sometimes some employees or some team member, they have the fear of it. So for that, like authorities are providing a forum, which is, we say, whistleblower forum. Okay. And from where they can escalate this issue. They can also directly escalate to them also, to the authorities. But if you have the compliance officer, so this issue needs to be allowed first to the compliance officer. And then compliance officer will review the scope. And very transparently and very confidentiality, he needs to conduct the investigation. And he concludes like what it is all covering about.
Okay.
One interesting thing like related to the whistleblower is this, that some of the channels needs to be provided to the all team members that they can anonymously can also report.
Okay.
It should not be like this that the next day, like what is happening, senior management is running after that. It should not be like this. So anonymously, or there should be some transparent boxes also should be there, in which it is written like when you seek guidance, when you need guidance, so you are seeking for the compliance. So this like slogan you should write onto the whistleblower, but it should not be under some surveillance, this box.
Okay.
Because the surveillance, if they are so obviously somebody will observe that who has put the like any complaint against whom.
To be honest, thank you so much for mentioning this whistleblower. As a business, we haven't implemented, but this will be the first thing I'll implement after the podcast, that we have to really create the policies and empower my front line, which we discussed at the start of the podcast, that we really need to empower, educate, communicate with my front line, that you can use this medium to really tell the upper management, not upper management, of course, the compliance, that is what I've learned as well, that it is not first the management who has to be reported, because again, it is the one of the people who are involved in that. So it is the first thing to report it to the compliance officer, as you mentioned. So we will create policies in which there is a framework, as you gave an idea for a box, which is again not in surveillance, because again somebody can check who exactly plays that anonymity thing. So it has to be anonymous. It has to be empowered to the front line to really use this medium to whistle the blow and tell the company and again the authorities, if it is required to directly, that there is something which needs an immediate attention.
Yeah, and one thing I will also let, there should be a dedicated, allocated email. That this email is specifically for the whistleblower. Everybody should know this is the whistleblower email. And second, like there should be one dedicated hotline.
Okay.
If someone like wants to call, so there should be a direct support for him also available.
It can be of the compliance officer.
Yeah, mostly it is like compliance officer, mostly.
Okay. Okay. Well, I haven't implemented whistleblower, as I said, but there is something on the same lines which is not related to compliance but related to service. What I do personally is when anybody is taking a product from Dhanguard, any product from top to bottom, after a certain time there is an automation in the system through which as Dhanguard I message from my number or from customer care that I, Hemant Katyal, founder of Dhanguard, if you have any concerns, any queries, any issues, you can reach out to me on this email or on this phone number.
Well, that is a good practice because it's some sort of like feedback service you are obtaining from the client. So that's a good practice because if you will keep evaluate yourself by such a way, so definitely like there's a lot of chance to improve ourselves.
Well, honestly, I sent so many messages out there after this product, but it's been so long we are doing this. fortunate enough, I have not seen even one incident till now where the client says that there is something wrong being done. So I'm really super proud of that. There was one or two incidents where customer asked that I was not provided with certain invoice or something, then I immediately marked my accounts team that sent to this customer. But other than that, fortunate enough that there was always good things which were talked about. Thank you so much, Mr. Rizwan, for coming here and helping us and the businesses who are watching in terms of really getting their compliances right. We hope to see you soon. We hope we have it together we can help the country and the businesses in terms of the right compliances.